come here. Send me a message, like location, I'm gonna come.
Could have got Khabib Conor too. That's what everyone in the MMA world keeps saying, and honestly, it's one of the biggest what-ifs ever. Every time fans talk about Khabib versus Conor, this second fight comes up. Today, I'm digging into why it didn't happen and what Islam Makhachev and Chael Sonnen have revealed about the real reasons behind it. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world and helps me bring you even more awesome UFC content. First, let's rewind to how this whole Khabib versus Conor thing even started. UFC 229 was no regular fight night. This was personal and the hype was wild. Conor went after Khabib's team, disrespecting Khabib, his faith, and even starting stuff before the event by attacking a bus that Khabib was on. Fans were glued to every second. The match itself ended with Khabib submitting Conor in the 4th round. But what really blew up the headlines was what happened after. The octagon turned into total chaos when Khabib jumped out and went after Conor's team, which led to both fighters and their teams getting suspended and fined. People still talk about that night because it was about more than just fighting. It was about pride, honor, and straight up bad blood. So here's where things get really interesting.
I choke him like he tap, like, and I see like some he's with me like, and I think, oh, I have to bite his heart,
Recently, Islam Makhachev, who is super close to Khabib and even considered his fighting brother, was asked about whether we could ever see another rivalry like Khabib versus Conor. Some fans started comparing the buzz around Ilia Topuria to McGregor's level of media magic. Makhachev answered straight up. He doesn't think anything out there right now or even coming up could match what Conor and Khabib had. He said that the UFC and MMA world haven't seen anything like it and probably never will again. It's just not close in his mind. So why didn't we get Khabib Conor too? It's the question that never goes away. People used to say it was because Khabib promised his mom that he'd stop fighting after UFC 251. That was right after his dad, Abdulnamap Nurmagomedov, passed away. Khabib wanted out for family reasons, right? Well, Chael Sonnen, an ex-UFC fighter and straight-up loudmouth, said there's more to it. According to him, it wasn't really about the promise, money, or even legacy. Chael thinks the real reason had to do with weight cuts. By the end of his career, Khabib was finding it tough to make the 155-pound lightweight limit. Sonnen believes that if the UFC had offered Khabib the Conor rematch at 170 pounds, the welterweight limit, Khabib would have come back for it. So in his words, we could have got Khabib Conor too. All they had to do was make it at 170.
Going back to Makhachev, he's now chasing new challenges, fighting up at 170 pounds and leaving the lightweight division and Ilia Topuria for someone else to handle. When he was asked if he'd be interested in coming back down in weight to fight for the lightweight title again, Makhachev pretty much said he's done torturing himself with those weight cuts. He's all about enjoying his training camps and competing at a weight that feels right for him now. He also mentioned that while fans are always going to argue and dream about rematches, he's focusing on his own goals and enjoying where he's at. It's a good reminder that in the end, fighters have to think about their own health and happiness too. Every big sport has its rivalries, but MMA is a whole different beast. And out of all the ones in UFC history, Khabib and Conor really stood out because of just how personal it got and the way it brought in fans who might not even watch MMA.
Why don't you drink? I don't drink.
Why don't you drink?
I never drink.
I'll tell you some boozer parties.
I never drink.
Islam Makhachev also talked about this. He said that even though there are fighters like Ilia Topuria who get loads of attention and hype, no one right now can really match what happened back when Khabib and Conor went at it. That rivalry was explosive and went way beyond just fighting in the cage. It had everything: trash talk, actual fights, out-of-cage drama, suspensions, and two guys who refused to back down. It's no surprise people wish we could see it again, but sometimes the magic is in never getting that second chapter. One thing that always gets talked about from UFC 229 is how wild the aftermath was. Khabib didn't just climb out of the cage to go after Conor's team, he also ran into some weird stuff backstage, like not even getting his championship belt right away. Khabib told a story about going to the locker room and asking Dana White, "Where's my belt?" and the USC brass tried to calm him down, saying they'd bring it to him later, probably hoping to keep things from getting even more heated in front of the fans. For Khabib, it was about respect. He wanted his moment, and he'd earned it after choking out Conor. This is just one of those inside stories that shows how huge and out of control that fight night was. Fast forward to now, and we've got fighters like Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria making big waves. Topuria is the lightweight champ, Makhachev is chasing the 170 belt, and there's always talk of dream fights and big rivalries. But Makhachev made it clear that he isn't chasing hype or headlines by dropping weight for a show. He's happy where he is, and the whole idea of Khabib versus Conor 2 is just a story for the fans. He's carving his own path, and that's kind of awesome to see. Every era has its moment, and Makhachev seems to get that you can't recreate lightning in a bottle.
So why are people still obsessed with the idea of a rematch? Part of it is that both Khabib and Conor are just massive icons in the sport. Khabib is known for being undefeated and leaving on his own terms, while Conor is the king of making noise and pulling in new fans even when he isn't fighting. It's rare for a fight to combine raw skill, personality, and drama the way that one did. Even now, years later, fans are debating who would win if they did it again, and if anything else in MMA even comes close. The truth is, some rivalries are so big that they exist more in our imaginations. That's why Khabib versus Conor 2 is something we keep bringing up, even when both guys have moved on and the sport has changed. To wrap things up, we may never see Khabib and Conor go at it again, and Makhachev is being real with us. Sometimes fights stay in the past for a reason. Still, the stories keep going, and new rivalries are always brewing. The fight game moves fast, but the legends will always stick around for us to talk about, cheer for, and remember. So whether you're hoping for an epic next chapter or happy to just relive the chaos in history, thanks for hanging out and talking MMA today. Hit that subscribe button for more fight talk, and let me know in the comments, would you have wanted to see Khabib versus Conor one more time? Catch you in the next round.
Let's talk now.